I'm Holly from Flow Movement Therapy, where we help active people with hard-to-resolve injuries get their lives back by teaching them to move better. Today, we're going to be talking about bunions, what a bunion is, how it forms, and then the unlikely connection between bunions and lower back pain. So bear with me as we go through what a bunion is, and we will eventually get to what is it, something about my big toe that can affect what's going on in my lower back. So first off, let's talk about what a bunion is. I'm sure everyone who's watching knows what a bunion is, they probably have one. It's a bony growth in the area around your big toe joint. And bunions can form in a number of different ways, but we'll talk about a couple of them today. One of them is that the pressures in your feet, in terms of how you're managing yourself against gravity, the pressure is more distributed onto your big toe joint. Or it could be that the mechanics in your foot means that more of the work is being done in that big toe joint. Now, just like the rest of our body, when we're doing more work in a certain part of our body sends more troops there. It says you need more bone, you need more muscle. Just like when you go to the gym or start a new type of exercising, your body builds up more muscle, it builds up more bone because it just needs that in order to do the work you're asking it to do. Clever body. But what happens with a bunion is no different from what's happening when you're exercising or going to the gym. We're asking more work to be done of that joint. We better send it more supplies so it can deal with what we're asking it to do. So your body sends more bone there to protect itself from breaking those bones because a bigger bone can take more pressure on it. And then the shape of what's going on in that joint also needs reinforcement to handle those curves that it's being asked to do. So a bunion with that curving shape needs more reinforcements to help stabilize or give more tissue to be able to handle the pressures you're asking of it. So two different things that may be causing your bunion. One of them is your resting position. So if we feel that more of the weight is onto the big toe joint, then your body is having to do more work under that area, and it's going to be building up more bone tissue to deal with the pressures being asked of that area of your foot. The other is that the way we're moving may be asking that joint to do more work than it's used to doing. So one part of our body that may not be moving enough, such as a joint within your foot. Maybe a joint in your foot is locked up and it's asking your big toe joint to do more movement for it. Or it could be a joint much, much further up the chain that isn't doing the work and is asking your big toe joint to pick up the slack. Poor big toe joint having to do all the work. So we're going to look at those two things, whether it's your resting position or your movement mechanics. So the first one is your resting position. Let's take a look. Put your thoughts, your feeling, your attention into your feet and just see where the distribution of the pressures are. So especially on the side with your bunion, if it's only on one side, maybe it's on both sides, where is the pressure in your feet? And I'd be willing to bet that if you have a bunion, that more of the pressure is going to be distributed around your big toe joint. And so if we put more of the work on that joint, more of the weight of our body on that joint, rather than equally distributed, it's going to have to build up more tissue to deal with that pressure there. Now we're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment, but the second one we want to look at is the mechanics, whether there's something that isn't moving and asking the big toe joint to do the movement for it. So let's put one foot in front of the other, just the length that you would have in your normal walking stride, putting that bunion foot behind for now, and we're going to examine what's happening when we're shifting our weight. So just curiosity, not trying to change anything, just seeing if this is true for your body. We're going to shift our body weight forward, and I want you to see what happens in your back leg. A few things we want to notice. Does all the weight go into your big toe joint? And does your knee bend as you do that movement? Now, if that's the case, it may be that with every step that you take, you're putting a lot of pressure onto that big toe joint, and you're asking it to create a shape where it curves into the other toes. Now, that's something that we're going to examine in a moment, how we can start retraining those patterns, and then we'll get to the back pain part. So the first thing, we're going to look at those pressures in your feet and see if we can start to to wake up some changes in the pressures that we're putting in our feet, especially on that bunion side. So we asked you to put your attention into your feet. Now let's see if we can redistribute the weight equally all over our feet. And what do you need to do that? Maybe you need to shift your weight back more towards your heels, or rotate your pelvis a little bit, or bring your chest on top of your pelvis, or maybe bring your pelvis underneath your chest to stack everything up straight up and down. Or maybe you need to straighten one of your knees. What do you need to do in your body in order to find an equal distribution throughout your feet? And those will be some benchmarks for you to start with some curiosity and figuring out, oh, I wonder why it is that my body has set me up to put all of the pressure into that place where my bunion is. It's a place to start thinking about what might be going on in your body. The second one is that mechanics of the foot behind us as we walk. Now what we want to do ideally to take the pressure off that bunion is when we shift our weight forward, we want a straight knee, and we want the balls of the big toe and little toe down on the ground. So as we shift our weight forward, that weight is equally distributed throughout the ball of the foot, rather than your pattern is probably more like this with the weight on the big toe joint with the bent knee. Now we want to be able to distribute that load across the ball of the foot with a straight knee. And that will take the pressure off the big toe having to do all the work for the rest of the foot. Instead, all of them get to pick up the slack, they get to do their job. So we want to start examining if that's true for your walk, especially on the side with your bunion. Now let's talk about the back pain connection with your bunion. Now there's something really cool in human mechanics called the great exchange. And if one part of your body is doing the work and the other part is not doing the work, then there's going to be a disconnect there. So if we have, like I said earlier, a joint that isn't quite moving, it's going to ask another joint to do more work. So if you have a lot of work being done in your bunion and not a lot of work being done throughout the rest of your leg, then you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position from your nervous system's perspective, and it's going to lock down the thing that connects your leg to the rest of your body. So the things going on in your lower back are not going to get the freedom that they need. They're asking all of the movement to be done in your bunion. And what happens is your body is on lockdown because it's saying, well, that's a lot of work being done by my big toe, and my lower back isn't having to do the things that it's designed to do anymore. It's getting stuck, and it's being locked down and not being able to have its freedom anymore. So we want to start waking up those motions to be able to free up your lower back instead of walking around in this position all of the time, where we're always having this lockdown position in our pelvis. So we want to be able to free up that movement and then be able to swing through again. So bunion and back pain definitely have a connection because of the work that's being done in a different part of the body than it's designed to do. So I hope that this was helpful for you. And if you enjoyed it, please subscribe, look at all my other videos, and like it and share. Let your friends know if they have bunions or back pain. If you want to work with me, I work one-on-one throughout the world. On Zoom, we can do one-on-one sessions. Just go to my website, flowmovement.ca, and we can set up a meeting together. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.